Welcome you all. I am Karthik Gupta. Today we are going to discuss the topic called fractions. So, what do you mean by fractions? Why the fractions are important? In the clerical exam or in the PO level or in the SO level, whichever the exam you may take, minimum 3 to 4 questions are from the topic called fractions. So, fractions are very important. So, what do you mean by fraction? Any number which is in the form of P by Q, where Q is not equal to 0. So, those type of numbers are called as fractions. So, fractions, any number which is in the form of P by Q, any number which is in the form of P by Q where Q is not equal to 0, means Q should not be equal to 0. So, those type of numbers are called as fractions. See here, for example, 3 by 4, 7 by 8, 11 by 9, it is also a fraction, 7 by 8, it is also a fraction, 3 by 4, it is also a fraction, 0 by 8, it is also a fraction, 0 by 8, it is also a fraction, but 8 by 0 is not a fraction. Okay, because denominator is 0. Denominator is 0 means it is not defined. It is not defined. Okay, so if you do this one in your scientific calculator, you are going to get a message called math error, means it is not defined. Okay, now what type of fractions are there? Okay, the first variety is proper fraction. Okay, the first variety is proper fraction. Okay, so see here, example 3 by 4, one more example 7 by 8, one more example 11 by 13. Means what? The numerator should be less than denominator. So, those type of fractions are called as proper fractions. The numerators are less than the denominators. It is very important. So, these type of fractions are called as proper fractions. Okay. Next, improper fractions. Improper fractions. So, example 9 by 7, next 6 by 5, next 8 by 5. So, these type of fractions are called as improper fractions, where numerators are more than the denominators. The numerators are more than the denominators. Okay. Next, you have the concept called mixed fraction. So, mixed fraction, example 1 by 3, 2, 3 by 4, 8, 9 by 11. So, these are called as mixed fraction. And one more thing, the improper fraction can be converted into mixed fraction, but the proper fraction cannot be converted into any format. Okay, only the improper fraction can be converted. See here, 9 by 6, so which is equal to 6 ones are 6, 3 is the remainder, 3 by 6, 3 ones are 3 twos are, which is equal to 1 by 2. This is the mixed fraction. Next, 6 by 5. So, 5 1 times 5, so 1 by 5. So, 1 by 5 is the mixed fraction. Okay. So, now you have learned what do you mean by proper fraction, what do you mean by improper fraction, and what do you mean by mixed fraction. Now, the important concept in fraction, that is among the given fractions, which is the highest one, which is the lowest one, and if you want to arrange the fraction in an ascending order, and if you want to arrange the fractions in a descending order. So, how we can analyze or how we can recognize, okay, that fraction is the least one or that fraction is the maximum one among the given series. Okay. So, you have so many concepts to identify which is the best. So, one by one you have to implement to identify which is the largest one or which is the minimum. Okay. So, let us discuss what type of concepts are there to identify which is the maximum and which is the minimum. See here, the first one, let us take an example. Let us take an example. The example such as 33 by 45, this is one example. Next, 75 by 89, this is one more example. Next, 39 by let us take 54, 39 by 54, and one more example. Let me take 23 by 69, 23 by 69. See here, in these examples, you can observe, here the numerator is also increased, the denominator also increased. Here again the numerator is decreased, the denominator is also decreased. Here the numerator is decreased, but the denominator is increased. So this is the important part in our analysis. Okay, so the numerator is decreased, the denominator is increased. Means what? The numerator rate is decreasing and the denominator rate is increasing. If this is the case, then one thing you have to remember, that the resultant fraction is lesser than the previous fraction. Okay, if the numerator is decreasing and the denominator is increasing, then the resultant fraction is lesser. For example, see here, 39 by 54, next 23 by 69. See, the numerator decreased, the denominator increased. So this is the case where the numerator is decreasing, denominator is increasing, means the resultant fraction value is lesser. If this is the case, see here, 39 by 54, next 45 by 47, 45 by 47. So properly you observe, the numerator is increased, the denominator is decreased. The numerator is increased, the denominator is decreased. If this is the case, then the resultant fraction value is higher than the previous one or the original one. Okay, so 40 by 45 by 47 is more than 39 by 54. So this is the highest one. This is the highest one. Okay, so now next you have one more thing. So this is based on the numerator increase and based on the numerator decrease. One more example let me take. After that I am going to come to this problem. Okay, let me take one more example. The example is like this. See here, 15 by 36. This is one number. Next 31 divided by 70. This is one more number. Now we have to analyze between these two numbers which is the maximum and which is the minimum. See, properly you observe the numerator, it is increased, and you observe the denominator also, it is also increased. In the previous example what we did, the numerator was increased, the denominator was decreased, or else vice versa. If that is the case, you people have learned how to decide. But here the numerator is also increased, the denominator also increased. So in this case what we have to do? See here, the best thing is you have to identify how many times the numerator is increased. See here, the numerator is 15 and next the numerator is 31. So how many times it is going? 15 into 2, 30 means twice, into 2, twice it is increasing. In the denominator 36, you want to get 70. So here the numerator is increased by twice. So now you check whether the denominator is also increased by twice or not. 36 into 2, which is equal to 72, but you should get 70, means it is increased less than twice. It is increased less than twice. Means what? The numerator increasing rate is much more than the denominator increasing rate. If you compare the increasing rate of numerator and the denominator, numerator's increasing rate is more than the denominator increasing rate. Therefore, the resultant fraction value is higher. Okay, therefore 31 by 70 is higher. 31 by 70 is higher, and it is vice versa. If the numerator value rate is less compared to the denominator increasing rate, for example, we may take like this. See here, we may take one more example like this. See here, 15, now it has become 15 by 36, the same example, it has become 29 and it has become 74. It has become 74. So see here, 15 2s are 30, means less than twice it is increased. Next 36 2s are 72, more than twice it is increased. Numerator less than twice it is increased, denominator more than twice it is increased. So, if this is the case, then the numerator increasing rate is less than the denominator increasing rate. If this is the case, the resultant fraction value will be lesser than the previous one. So, therefore, 29/74 is lesser. Okay, 29/74 is lesser, therefore 15/36 is the highest fraction among these two. So, now you have learnt, okay, the first one is whether the numerator is increasing or not, decreasing or not. Next, you have learnt the how much percentage the numerator is increased, how much percentage the denominator is increased. Based on both the two, you have to decide. Next, you have one more method, the percentage method, but we are not going to use the traditional method, we are going to use the different concept. See here, for example, you take the values like this, 14 divided by 30, this is one number. Next, you may take one more number, the number is like this, 24 divided by 36. 24 divided by 36, both the numerators are increased and the denominators are increased. But if you see here, 14 2s are 28, means less than twice, 30 2s are 60, this is also less than twice, this is also less than twice. Then how to simplify? So, very simple, you reduce the given fractions, So, the given fractions are 14/30. So, if you reduce this one, how much you are going to get? 7/15. You are going to get 7/15. Next, see 14/30. If you simplify, you are going to get 7/15. Next, 24/36. So, you simplify this one. 6 4s, 12 2s are 24, 12 3s are 36. 2/3 means 66.66 percentage. But do we know the value of 7/15? No. So, how to calculate 7/15? So, you observe properly 7/14, 7/14, 7 1s are 7 2s are means 50%. So, 7/14 is 50%, but 7/15 obviously less than 50%. Obviously less than 50%. Therefore, 2/3, that is 24/36 is the maximum one. 24/36 is the maximum one. Sometimes it will be difficult to calculate the percentage also. Then what we have to do? For example, you may get the fraction like this, 17/19, 17/19, next 7/8. 7/8. Okay, so 17/19, next 7/8. So, two fractions you have. So, among these two, which is the highest one you have to calculate? So, very simple guys, one more method, the method is cross multiplication method. You cross multiply, so you are going to get 17 into 8 here, 19 into 7. So, among these two you calculate. Okay, so 17 into 8, 7 8s are 56, 5 carry over, 8 1s are 8, 8 plus 5, 13. Next, 19 7s are, 7 9s are 63, 6 carry over, 7 1s are 7, 7 plus 6, 13. See, 133, 136. So, which is the highest one? Whether 136 or 133? 136 is the highest one. So, 136 represents which fraction? 17/19. So, 17/19 is the greater one among 7/8. So, very simple, you cross multiply and 17 into 8, below 17/19 only you have to write. Okay, 7/8, so 19 into 7 after cross multiplication, below 7/8 only you have to mention that one also. So, after multiplying you are going to get 136 and 133. So, 136 is the bigger one. So, 17/19 is the bigger one. Consider the above example what we have taken. 33/45, 75/89, 39/54, 23/69. So, you consider the same example now. Which is the greater among these fractions we have to identify. See here, go through the fractions, the last two fractions you may take, the numerator is decreased and the denominator is increased. The numerator is decreased and the denominator is increased. If this is the case, what I had told, the resultant fraction value will be less. Okay, therefore, 23 by 69 is less. So, this cannot be the answer. This cannot be the highest one. Okay, now we have to identify between these three. 33 by 45, next 75 by 89, next 39 by 54. See here, 33 into 2, 33 into 2, that is 66, but we have 75, means what? The numerator is increased more than twice. Here 45 twos are 90, 45 twos are 90, but it is increased less than twice. The first one, it is increased more than twice. Second case, in the denominator case, it is increased less than twice. Means what? The resultant fraction, that is 75 by 89, is more than 33 by 45. Why? Already we had explained. The numerator increasing rate is more than the denominator increasing rate. Therefore, 33 by 45 cannot be the answer. Now you have an option, that is 39 by 54. This is one fraction. Next, 75 by 89. This is one more fraction. Now again you go with these two. 39 twos are 78. So into 2, very near to 75. Into 2, if you do, you are going to get very near to 75. But see here, 54 into 2. 54 into 2, you should get 108, but how much you are getting? You are getting only 89. Okay, you are getting only 89, but here it is almost equal to 75. Therefore, the numerator increasing rate is more than the denominator increasing rate. Okay, and one more thing, one more concept is there, that is, see here, 15 by 18, this is one fraction. Next, 18 by 21, this is one more fraction. See here, it is also increased, it is also increased. Both are less than twice. So, how much it is increased? 3, means 3 by 15, that is 3 ones are 3 fives are. So, the numerator is increased by 20%. The numerator is increased by 20%. How about the denominator? How about the denominator? In the denominator also it is increased by 3. So, 3 divided by 18. So, 3 ones are 3 sixes are. 1 by 6, 16.66%. So, the numerator is increased by 20% and the denominator is increased by 16.66%, means the numerator increasing rate is more than the denominator is increasing rate. Therefore, here 18 by 21 is the greater one. 18 by 21 is the greater one, and in this fraction, the numerator increasing rate is more than denominator increasing rate. Therefore, this is the maximum one. This is the maximum one. So, you have so many concepts to analyze which is greatest and which is lowest. Please do not go for the traditional method into 100, where you have to do so many calculations and it takes too much time. Okay, so let us go to the problems. Problem number 1.